Hey Manny,
Hi.
how are you doing today?
Good.
Thank you for coming in today on our scheduled appointment and being here on time. I appreciate that. As you recall from last week, we're here to discuss our assessment findings and kind of go through our collective information that we've been gathering the last few weeks. That makes sense. So we'll kind of go step by step and talk about the intake,
Okay.
information that we gathered and what we got from that. We will talk about a little bit about the anxiety questionnaire data that you filled out for me, and I'll explain that as far as what the results that we got together. And I will also talk about the monitoring forms that we did, which was you remember?
Yeah.
Behavior diary? Great, okay. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well. Do you have questions regarding any information?
No, I'm good.
Okay, great. So as you recall, one of the main problems was, Charlie's behavior, his tantrums. He was tantruming quite often to a point where you were kind of really on the verge of going crazy yourself, per se,
Yes,
as
I
you recall.
remember.
So his behavior was getting upset, kicking, crying, screaming, throwing himself on the floor, whichever it might be.
Yes,
so
yes.
Is that still happening?
It's still happening.
Okay. And so what we talked about is kind of focusing on the goal, where he was doing it quite often after school, about 5 or so times a day. And we talked about decreasing those to maybe 3 or less per day. Does that make?
Yeah, that's still a goal that I would like to work on.
Okay, great. So I'm glad that we're still I'm not glad that behavior is still happening, but I'm glad that, we're still focusing on that.
Okay.
And all the new behaviors have come up with that. So that's always it's always a plus. So based on the intake, let's talk a little bit about that.
Okay.
We we went through. We had filled out several information. So as I see, there wasn't any environmental factors, any family history, substance abuse, any of that result that can relate to Charlie's behavior. So to me, it's more learned behavior that he's picked up on, and he's getting away because it's being reinforced by something. So we need to pinpoint what's happening. So we can kind of single out any, again, substance abuse, environmental. You pretty stable as far as your home and job and whatnot. No new experiences. So, is there anything else that you want to add that wasn't in the part of the intake, or?
No, we went over everything.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Next, I want to follow with the questionnaire data. So, as you recall, remember this form that we completed, or had you complete, as far as the depression, anxiety stress scale. As you can see here, I went through and calculated these scores, and it goes from normal to mild, moderate, severe, and so on. For depression, you're rated at a 7, which is normal. No need to worry about focusing more on that category.
Okay.
It's pretty normal. Now, however, the other two, anxiety and stress, as you can see here, this is a 24 for anxiety, and it's at a moderate. So we want to, our overall goal is to kind of decrease that anxiety in your behalf. Just in correlation that stress kind of combines.
Okay.
So at a stress, you really were pretty high at a 31. So we need to really focus in on that too. So it seems to be that when Charlie is exposing his behaviors, your stress is so right off of those, with anxiety, you're anxious to get situated and get calm. As you recall, last week in our session, you guys were playing with the little fire truck, I believe, and it was time to pick up and switch toys, but he was having fun with his truck. He really enjoyed the ladder up and down. So that was a moment of his tantrum where he really got upset, and he threw himself on the ground, started yelling, screaming, even at a point where he was trying to kick you. Remember that point?
Yeah.
So I noticed that when you gave several instructions, you repeated several times to, hey, when you're sitting quietly, I'm going to give you this toy. I noticed that your stress levels really went up, and instead of you really complying and ignoring all these proper things you need to take on, you were kind of quick to feed in and give him the next toy. You know, so you set a limit, but it was a little limit that was okay, quick and easy. You know? So
Okay.
it wasn't really a consequence, but
Yeah.
it was a good observation for me to learn and see myself hands on. So that was great that I was there, so I can be able to help you, you know,
Mhm.
throughout the next few sessions. So. In regards to your monitoring forms, you know, we picked a behavior diary. So you remember that form you completed for me? Can you tell me a
I
little bit
did,
about
and
that?
I was surprised at how many things happened before and after the session. Those were things that I wasn't even aware were going on before, and I can see how they are affecting his tantrums all the time. So it was an eye opener for me.
That's great. That's
Yeah.
great. And that's why we have these forms for our families. So we hand out because not just this questionnaire data or behavior diary. I'm sorry, but you know there's tally sheets and duration sheets, and so we're able to see you know what is really happening. You know and how long. That gives a better clue of how we can assist you. You know so.
Mhm.
And I'm glad that you were able to see you know, the behaviors and the consequences of what's being effective or not effective now compared to a few sessions down the road where I teach you the skills.
Mhm.
So based on all the information, you know, I can see that yes, you know, Charlie does have behavior tantrum, and then we need to decrease. You know, it's not appropriate that he throws himself at a grocery store and kicks and screams to get what he wants, and you give in. You know, so.
Mhm.
Again, it's a common behavior, it's really normal, but we'll focus on teaching you some strategies and skills for that.
Okay.
And we'll keep monitoring the behavior, you know, keep taking the behavior diary home and keep working on that. So,
Sounds
you have
good.
any questions?
No, I look forward to learning all of these new skills.
Great, perfect. Well, thanks for coming in again, and we'll touch base next week.
Thank you.
So in part to my what is it reflection as far as how my session went with my parents, I thought I'd touch base on you know each of the checklist items that I had to really present specifically in regards to going through the you know the data collected over the several weeks of behavior. So I felt that I did present every item. I could have probably been more specific as far as sharing my conclusions towards the end and relating that to the behavior and how we're going to proceed in the future. So, is there anything that you think I should have done better or did good?
I felt that I was included the whole time. You kept asking me questions and asking if there was anything else that I wanted to say, which always opened up the door for me to be open with you.
Great. So, as long as you felt that comfortable relationship, that's always a plus. So, okay, thank you.